Hey, welcome to the third video in this series on the full moon. I mean, it's just that big that I had to make a series, and I thought I was going to end with two, and now I'm on three videos. So here we go. We had we have like eight, nine major things going on, as if I need to tell you that. It's major, it's huge, it's volatile. And what I'm calling this is foreshadowing. And now I'm going to get into the foreshattering. So Uranus is a shatterer. It shatters our reality. It shatters our beliefs. And maybe for some of you, that's what's happening. And if you're a fixed sign, Leo, Aquarius, Taurus, Scorpio, you don't even like that. If you have that sun, moon, ascendant, that's part of you that doesn't like it. And so we're being asked to grow. And wherever that part is in your chart, you're being asked to grow. So see video 2 with very specific instructions on how to use your words in the situation. Okay, so where I left off was Mercury and Leo squaring Uranus and Taurus at 26 degrees Taurus. That is the signature of change in plans and upgrades. It could be new developments happening. So you're going to have to learn to pivot. We've all learned to pivot over the last 4 years. It's going to be more pivoting because plans may come out, like the plan you have may get changed from out of the blue. And so there's some excitement in that because there are things that we can't think because our mind excludes them as possibilities in order to control our world. Do you get that? We're all so, like, we're just mammals and we're so afraid of our world spinning out of control and not knowing what the F is going on that we make up stories to control how small our world is. But Uranus is meant to shatter that. It comes in and shatters it. And I'll never forget that Pam Gregory says, we're in this photon light belt. So we're bathed in light, and light is shattering. If you've ever, been in a dark room and then had like a flashlight put in your eyeballs, you don't like it. It's like, because it's shattering. And shattering means that I'm shattering the identity of who I thought I was or how I thought the world worked so that I can control and feel safe, quote unquote, because we're safe in ourselves. We're not safe because the outside world is a certain way. Oh, yeah. I was with Amma last week, as I talked about in video 2, and that really shifted and changed me. I was surprised because I have sat with gurus before, and I'm not even a guru person really, but I knew that I wanted to be in the frequency of something different, something higher consciousness, because I was like craving that in myself. Like I had come to my like exhaustion with who I was, who I am. I'm like, okay, I'm done. I need a shattering and a breakthrough. And it was a really beautiful way. Like she has this scent on her, and I was able to give her my book as well, my children's book, because she loves animals. And my friend said that her people were reading it to her when she was giving darshan. And I just felt so happy and so elated because I loved that dog that I wrote the book about. It's called Forever Blue, and it's a children's book. So it was a very auspicious moment for me. And you may have that come up for you where you really want to invest your time into something that's going to elevate your frequency and your consciousness, because this is too much of a shit show to invest your time and energy. You're going to get no energy return. You're just not. So we get to be aware, and I'm tracking things to a certain extent. I'm very interested in like world themes and looking at broad cultural shifts and changes. And that's what we're in right now. And who I am doesn't have to be attached to that, even if it's horrible. I was talking to my mom about it, who happens to have a different political opinion than I do. And I was realizing that whatever happens, I am surrendering to the fact that we need it. And that's not going to change my dharma or it will influence my dharma to step up in ways that, that are beautiful and good, because our dharmas are our dharmas, and we're playing a role right now inside of the collective. And the collective we may need to go through a really dark night to realize who we are and to ascend. So let's trust the process as well. So right after the full moon, we're still going to be in the full moon frequency. The day after it's exact, the sun enters Leo, right? So because it's all 29 degrees and it's going to move to this 0 degree point in Leo. And guess what it's going to do? Because guess who else is there? It's Pluto. So everybody's touching Pluto. So Pluto has a signature on this full moon that is like, I'm going to amplify the F out of this full moon, because change is going to happen. It is going to happen. Wrecking ball going to happen. So the sun in Leo is opposing Pluto in Aquarius retrograde at 0 degrees. That little tick to 0 degrees, because remember, by September 1st, Pluto will be at 29 degrees of Capricorn. So it's moving backward. And one of the astrologers pointed out that this is the first time ever that the sun in Leo is opposing Pluto retrograde in Aquarius at 0 degrees. So we're really blazing new territory, huge new territory in consciousness. So if the stars and their configuration are our internal configuration, inside is outside, outside, inside, we are one thing, reflections of each other, then what we get to say is that this is something that has never happened, as we don't have a map. We are in real time unfolding to something very new. And it's got to break down the structures of our mind, because it's mind that keeps this reality fixed. It's mind that keeps this reality the same. If you ever look at biology and that our cell turnover, how do our cells turn over so that literally, I guess let's use a number, every 7 years, you are a completely different person with cell turnover. That's how you stay alive. That's how the body stays alive. Nothing is stagnant. Everything dies and is reborn, concluding your cells. Now, why is 7 years ago the same as like right now? Like we're the same people, because of mind. Mind is fixated and patterned. Fixated and patterned. It thinks the same thing. It gets up in the morning and it thinks the same thing. That's why you get to be an interruption in your mind. I was walking in my trails with my dog, and I was noticing, oh my God, same thoughts, ruminating, as if I'm going to solve the problem if I continue ruminating on it. That's what the mind thinks. So we're really here to do deeper work on our minds. And that's what Pluto will, with the help of Uranus, will shatter, between the shattering and the wrecking ball, to force us to think in a new way, new mind. It's huge. So this sun in Leo, 0 degrees, opposing Pluto, 0 degrees, is also going to bring up super deep fears. So if you think about it, how have you in your personal life transformed the most? I mean, probably something pretty intense happened. You got a divorce, you got a diagnosis, you got in an accident, somebody died, something, and it could be different, but it jarred you. It just jarred you. A reveal happened in your life that just jarred you. And that put you into a dark night, and you felt the depression, maybe even the hopelessness and the despair. And in that place, you made certain decisions. And if you're listening to me, you made decisions ultimately that was not who you were. And somehow, some way, through some breadcrumb guide, or book that you found at the bookstore on, online or whatever, just opened up a new world to you. And you took the opening. But that opening was only made available because you had died. A part of you died. And that's this. This is happening right after the full moon. So we have full moon energy in this, and then we have the sun in Leo energy, and we have Pluto energy. So something's being brought to light, and you will have to journey into that fear and journey into the limitations that you have created for yourself. Some of us spend so much time arguing for our limitations, why something is not possible, right? We just will defend the shit out of it. It's not possible. Here's why. We got all the evidence in the world. It's like we're on trial for what's not possible. So this is going to make us like look square at it and choose. What do you choose as you, as a sovereign being with agency? What do you choose? It's raw. It's deeply honest. This is like Pluto wants honesty. Pluto wants the truth. It's like one time I heard these women who wrote the book Undefended Love. They talked about, if you think you're surrendered, you have not. But if you feel like life has, a grip on your hair and has shoved your face in the toilet and then brought you back up to breathe for a second and then shoved you back down and then back up, that is surrender. That letting go. And Pluto, if you fight Pluto, that's what happens. So the way we handle that is we just get alongside of it. We get alongside of it. It doesn't mean that you can't feel the feels. It doesn't mean that you don't have to have thoughts like, gosh, I really hate this. I would prefer it to be a different way. That's okay, but just suspend your belief that you even know what this is. That's deep. It's really deep. It's really heavy energy. We're going to go into even more heavier energy, but you don't have to be heavier. Just because there's heaviness doesn't mean you have to be heavy, because heaviness comes from feeling the weight of your thoughts. Now, if your thoughts are open and you lean into the trust, and that would be that Neptune at 29 degrees, that trust, because it's not, and here I want to say something, it's not the trust outside you, like God outside you, the universe outside you, angels outside you. I'm going to be a no for that. It's the trust of who and what you really are, that ineffable God spirit. You are that. So when we get out of our minds and get out of our way, we can totally trust that this compass, I mean, it's been around for millions of years. It in human and life forms, it knows what to do. It knows what to do. We've just only clouded it by our minds thinking, no, it knows what to do. And that ego mind only wants to control for its survival. So this is a huge call to action, but it's a huge opportunity for spiritual growth. All right, I have to talk about one more thing. I can't believe it. I'm going to make it a 4-part series. This is crazy. But yeah, I am. I'm going to make it a 4-part series because I'm going to end here. I'm going to talk about Mars-Uranus conjunction. And I think that'll be short because we're on the tail end, but we're still in the frequency of that. And that's where the shattering comes in. So I'll see you on the next and final video.